Shamps and giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Shamps and giggles back for 2024. Oh my
We were
lord.
discussing about insulin. Keith, you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Something was going to say about the insulin thought. So I know diabetes, you understand a little bit more about it than I do. So part of the thing.
Yeah, so with my diabetes, well, I'll say thankfully, I'm type 2, but it's very well controlled. I got mine in 2020 after the COVID, well, during COVID, because I wasn't active enough. I was very active. Diabetes runs in my family. So I was always on borderline. So, but because my job, I was being very active, walking, running up and down and everything. It was okay, it was under the bar sort of thing. But when COVID hit and me sitting at home in front of the screen typing every day for the past nearly enough a year, I felt lethargic and slow and all sorts. So when I checked it out, they said, yeah, you've got diabetes. My levels are very high. But when he told me my levels were very high, he said, you just have to do some health changes, eating habits, stop this, stop that, don't do more exercise, greens, water. So I changed my diet and I did a regime of going to the gym, and I've kept that up. So the past, well, it's coming up to 4 years now, I've been near enough bang on the line or under. So yeah, so the doctors every year he's been saying to me when I do my bloods, just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing something right. So because this is on, they don't know who I am, but I've stopped taking 2 of the tablets. So I've stopped taking 2 of the tablets personally just to see. So with me, and for the past 3 years, my levels have been below.
Without the tablets?
Without 2 of them.
Right.
So that's what I'm continue doing. However, type 1 is a different story altogether.
Right.
And that type 1 is very difficult to control because there's too many variables. It could be high sugar, it could be other, you're not producing the right insulin inside of you to dampen things down, or your pancreas or something else is not flowing right. So that's why they need the insulin. And I understand when people say try trees and try herbal remedies, but my opinion is that it's very, very difficult. And even the Diabetes UK have also said that it's very, very difficult to eradicate or reverse type 1 diabetes.
That's the scary one, type 1.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And I know there's lots of people abroad and in the UK that will try the herbal side, but it's very difficult. And all I'm saying, on my opinion, this is purely my opinion, it's not easily done. And it's not easy for anyone to say it's reversible, because it isn't. And that's what I've got to say.
Leisha, your hands up. Come and talk things.
Yeah, I was an echo. Smiley said that the 2 types are very different, and diabetes 2 and diabetes 1. And also, I think that it is that we was talking about the shortage of the medication and how quickly they can get out of it. And like you said, Joseph, it depends on supply and demand. And it seems to be additional people demanding a particular drug, which is making the supply chain not keep up with the demand that's happening at the moment. So that's what the problem is. Another caveat is that, although it's great to say that you can treat things through herbal medicines and things like that, but generally some people just can't do that and they can't keep up with that at all. And taking this medication can actually save their lives. So, it's just very disappointing that there is a shortage.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm just going to jump in quickly, Joe. In the chat, Spin Doctor said there's too many hidden sugars. And we all know that everything that you think that you're eating is healthy is is dosed with extra sugars. So yeah.
Big, massive conversation. I just want to say here in the article, it says that Britain is already, this is a guide from The Guardian, Britain is already contending with record numbers of medicines becoming hard or impossible to obtain.
Yes.
And of course, epilepsy, hyperactive disorders included, as well as the type 1 diabetes. You mentioned about the Brexit situation. Brexit was 2016. That's like 8 years ago. So all the things that were cut off are now really coming into effect. So it makes you wonder if this is all a result of that. And, you know, they didn't know what they was doing. They didn't realize the multitude of connections, because connection with the EU had been in place since the 1970s. So that's 30 years. You just cut 30 years off like that. I mean, seriously. So it's not just, so type 2 is you can work with. Type 1, whole nother game, whole nother level, because I think there's actually something in your body which makes the insulin. I think that thing has literally stopped working.
Correct.
Why
Absolutely
they
correct.
need the insulin from an outside source to inject into their body.
Well done.
So keeps them up. Yolande turned on the camera. Are you type 1 or type 2?
I'm type 1.
Oh, so you're type 1.
Yeah.
Have you experienced, here at Help from the Horse, experienced or concerned about experiences or shortages?
There are the shortage of insulin. It's not all insulins. There's certain types, and as already mentioned a little while ago, is the Olympic one. I watched the last Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, and if I recall correctly, Sharon Osbourne was in that, and she's lost quite a bit of weight.
Yes.
And the reason why is because she can purchase that insulin. She's not diabetic.
Oh, she's not diabetic.
So when you get, you know,
Ozempic.
Yeah, when you get people like that, you know, in the public eye, putting that word out, but admittedly, it was out before that anyway, highly so in America. But people will follow her, and you know, if they need to lose weight and they've got the money and they've tried other things that hasn't worked, money talks. You just go and buy it.
So there you are. So forget Oprah. Sharon Osbourne has put a word out. Her celebrity friends have likewise put the word out. They're all jumped on the bandwagon, right? And now the people who are really, really, really need it, life dependent need it, are now going short.
Thank goodness I'm not on that. There isn't actually a shortage with the type of insulin that I'm on.
Right.
No problem in actually ordering my insulin at all.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But with regards to linking that and the herbs already, you know, I tried all that, and I think I totally agree with you 100%. You do actually have to be extra careful when you're diabetic, because I do the herbal teas because I love them, and I couldn't come on earlier, but I said, you know what, I've got to come on because I hear you guys chatting, and you know what, my cupboard is full of them, and I said, you know what, I've got to bring it on. That's the moringa.
Moringa.
Yeah, this does not affect my blood sugar adversely.
We live in a nice locations too, you know.
Yeah, I do the green tea as well.
Green
tea.
Have you got a regimen where you go moringa in the morning, green tea in the afternoon?
No, just when I fancy it. That's the pure soursop. This one will lower my blood sugar. I've got to be so careful when I drink pure soursop tea, because that lowers my blood sugar and it could lower it dangerously.
Wow. So if you're too high, that's good to take.
It's good to take, but I would have to monitor my blood sugar more than usual. The effects are not immediate. The effects are like 2 to 3 hours afterwards. So I would not have that in the evening and go to bed. That's dangerous.
Right. So, but you got the machine, right? There's a machine that you have, and you prick your stuff, and it takes the reading of what you're.
Yeah, yeah. I've got the sensor. I've just forgotten the name of it, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The lever 2 sensor, which is on my arm. You know, there it is.
Right, right. Yeah, the guy at work had that. Yeah, the girl at work.
There's an app on my phone.
Right.
And that will tell me my blood sugars.
Right.
Basically, I will just scan it.
Right, and then it gives you the measurement.
Reading, which is in between for me, so that's good.
Right, so you know exactly where you are. I mean, so you see the point. This type 1, when I saw that girl in the office, I know you can't play with type 1. She it's a balancing act, and she knows her body so well that she knows what she needs to eat, when she needs to eat it, if she's having a crash, and what she needs to do. And she explained it to us, and I said, well, look, if the worst happened and we had to call the ambulance, you need to write it down, what we need to say to the ambulance, because you can't pass bad information, so that then they know how to deal with the situation. So, you know, these actors and so on, I think they should be denied the drug, whatever it is, because obviously.
I do, because it's just, you know, it's self-gratifying. You need insulin to live, to survive.
Yeah.
But if you don't get it, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't get this drug, what, they're going to put on weight?
Right. I mean, there's other ways to lose weight. It's not a fair balance at all. And, you know, when you see diabetes taking full effect, like, nah, mate, those people can lose weight other ways.
Money talks.
Money does. You're quite right. Money does talk. Leisha, your hand is up. Come in, talk the things.
I was going to give you an interesting fact. So the maker of these drugs, they're Danish and they're called Novo Nordisk. And they've become Europe's most valuable company. They produce the weight loss drug or they call it now the weight loss drug because everybody's buying it for weight loss, but it is for diabetics, Ozempic and Wegovy, which has generated massive hype over the past year. So you can, like I said, and like Keith said, there's been a huge demand, huge surge, and the people that have been affected are those who have diabetes.
Yeah. So there's a whole story, and one is as Yolanda was saying, money talks. The celebrities have got on board. They've told their friends. They're all rushing and buying up hordes of it. And then the diabetics who actually need it are left with anxiety and distress because here's something that they may not get. Interestingly, look, Spin Doctor says some people don't know their diabetes. Now, are you saying they don't know their diabetes? Are you saying they don't know about diabetes? You know,
I think he's saying they don't know they're diabetic.
Oh, they don't know they're diabetic. That's even worse because Keith, you just found out.
Yeah, I didn't realize. It's only I knew my own body, and I thought, why am I? And I'm not being rude to the listeners. Why was I peeing so much? And why was I having pints of glass of water? And I had to put ice in it, and not just 2 ices. I had to have like 10 clumps of ice in a cup, and the water's cold already. And I was just drinking and drinking and drinking it, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't get enough of ice water.
Wouldn't that explain why you needed to pee though? Because you're drinking lots of water.
No, it's because my diabetes, my levels were so high, the sugar levels were so high when I went. It was in the 90s. It was it was really, really high, and just going to every minute of the day, very slow, very lethargic. And when I spoke to the doctor on the phone, because them times you can only do it on the phone. He said, "You got diabetes?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And he said, "Yeah, you have." And I said, "No, I haven't." And when I went for the results and tests, yeah. Metformin, yeah. So spin doctor, you obviously know this, Yeah. So maybe I'm not sure if your family's got a history, but yeah, what you're saying is correct because I'm on metformin. Yeah.
Yeah, and the metformin, and there's another one, obolin. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
there's different ones. There's different ones for depending which one you're used to, and you
So,
can, yeah, adapt
so
to
the
it.
definition of diabetes is a chronic metabolic disease characterized by elevated levels of blood glucose or blood sugar, which leads over time to serious damage, obviously, to the body. Um, yeah, yeah. So this is it's
I
very
know it attacks
Spin
the
doc,
pancreas.
yeah, what 1 minute, Pinky. I think spin doctor had his hand up.
did he?
Yeah, I don't know if you can
Part
hear
of the
me.
things, his hand is up. Spin
Yeah.
doctor, come in.
Is
We
my
hear you.
mic on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, regarding reversing your diabetes, there's a gentleman, I thought he was part of this platform, is it Lyndon Wizard? Have you heard of him? And
Lyndon
he's
I've heard of him.
well, Lyndon Wizard has got a book called The Inspired Diabetic, where he reversed his diabetes in 105 days. So he talks about he didn't know he was diabetic, and then when he went to the doctor, obviously doctors told him this, and he's kind of had a little kind of breakdown because they want to put him straight on medication because you get a where's that gentleman? You get a reading. I think there's some reading to tell you where you are on the scale of diabetic and if you're on the high end. So Lyndon's book is he really his book is inspirational, but the same thing that someone else was saying is that you really have to be dedicated to reversing your diabetes, and probably it's your lifestyle and what you eat and what's creating it. So to change your lifestyle is it's a hard thing to do. I mean, some of us, and I was there one time where I'd be drinking 3 cans of energy drink, and I realized you realize you've got a problem when you look in your car and you see the cans on the floor. Like, hold on a minute, why am I drinking so much of these sugary drinks? The reason why is the sugar is addictive.
Yes.
You get another drink, you're trying to satisfy something in your body, gives you that spike that sends something to your brain to say, yeah, because sugar is energy, So in some ways we need sugar, but then when there's too much sugar, it's how do you get it out of your body? And which is the problem now, or what we can see, because I was told, and I don't want to be in this conspiracy theory, but I do believe that the medication metformin, if you use it too long, it has a side effect that you could get dementia. And they were actually put, I don't know if you can Google it, they said, oh, type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's and dementia because of the onset of the medication. But we realized that there are medications out there that are the side effects. You cure one thing and it brings on something else. But again, going back, you got sugar in everything. I never knew this. And sometimes you think, am I stupid? Like in potatoes, it's got sugar in it. And I never knew that. I was like, what? How can a potato have sugar? Tomato ketchup.
Natural,
Right? But
natural.
there
But
are,
here
oh,
you're
yeah,
quite right. Type 3 diabetes is a term some researchers use to describe the theory that insulin resistance and insulin-like growth factor dysfunction in the brain may cause Alzheimer.
mm,
So you're quite right. There's a link between diabetes and Alzheimer's,
yeah,
and of course that could be through the medication that they're giving you.
yeah. And but again, I put in the group chat about Barbados being the #1 for amputees because of diabetes. You know, that people, and we got to look at the West Indies. And you know what? There was an actual article from Coca-Cola saying that, oh, about the sugary drinks in the Caribbean, because they're cheap, and Coca-Cola, that they was in talks because it's the sugary drinks that the local people were drinking. And what they was actually saying, that these companies like Coca-Cola and these fast, that what we look at, you know, like we call it a local juices, that people no longer make like a local juice or a juices that we have back in the day. They've gone to the fizzy, these Coca-Colas and these drinks. And I think there was an article, I can't remember what paper, but Barbados Coca-Cola had, it might even be in the Guardian or one of those big papers about that. But again, because I've got a book, right? It's very interesting. I bought this book in a £1 shop, and it was called Beyond the Sugar Shock, right? And that will tell you, it's very interesting, the amount of different sugars that are hidden under different names. And you know, the lady there I know you bought the Dalgety, and I love Dalgety teas and whatever, but sometimes when you look at the back of the bottle, it said carbohydrates of sugar. It's not telling you it's sugar. It says carbohydrates of sugar, or so they bring it's like they trick you to say the ratio of sugar in the drink is lower than what it is.
Yeah.
But when you read it, because I know for school children, they did one time brought out the like a calculator that you can have to find out the sugar levels in these fizzy drinks, that they can work it out, because when you read the back of the thing, because they can change the word sugar to something else.
Yeah.
I mean, so let me leave it there, because
what you're saying is absolutely correct, and it's like you now have to become a scientist, and you have to read these. I don't want to cuss bad word. You have to read these labels, the print of which is so small, you can't make out what the hell's on it. And you know what I mean? You got, now you're getting your phone camera out. You're in the Asda or wherever. You get your phone camera out. You take a picture of the damn thing, so you can now enlarge it, so you can actually read it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is so interesting, and I won't take up. But the next fad that a lot of people have jumped on is water, and water is probably going to be one of the safest drinks because it's water. But there's a lot of these drinks out there. They're saying they're natural, they're spring, they're this, but it's just filtered water. It's just like when you look on water now, they're talking about, I don't know if anyone is into the alkaline, when they look at alkaline levels in the water. Sorry, bring that back, the pH level in the water.
Yeah, pH should be like, I think,
because if you look on certain waters that have come out there, some of them will say they're 7.49 whatsoever, but there are certain, what I find is mainly the Turkish water that says they have the highest level of the pH. Yeah, that Saka water was one of them, which is interesting, because I started to think, well, they've got all this water, but how can they supply all these different countries with the volume of water that is required? Because if you look at water, sorry for going side noting, but if you look at water and you drive past a shop, majority of these, they're in plastic bowls and they're outside the shop, direct to the sunlight, which, sunlight with water starts to breed bacteria if it goes to a certain temperature. And they say that when the sunlight hits the plastic, the plastic leaches into the water.
Yes.
But this is another thing that we've got, and that the plastic, believe it or not, is the hardest thing to destroy
when it gets in your body,
in the ocean. But getting back to that, they say that water should be in a glass bottle, should be in glass.
Remember back in the day, the
People,
milk used to come in a glass bottle.
yeah, and people are saying copper, you know, drinking copper because of copper elements. But we also have to realize that back in the day, most of the water was coming into your house via lead pipework.
Still does in some houses.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then when they've changed it, it's to copper and plastic. But copper, I kind of hear, but again, plastic. So water is very, very interesting, but it has the healing properties, right? Really, I think, what's the DJ? What's your, I forgot your name. Did you say you started drinking a
Smiley.
lot of water and ice?
Yes,
Yeah, because
DJ
your body,
Smiley, yeah.
your body's just asking for
Yes.
first. And what is it doing is you're just letting it out. You're
Yeah.
just peeing it out. But anyway, let me leave it there because
No, brilliant
Thanks for your input.
conversation. Yes, mate.
I don't know if is that my internet? No.
No, it's
So
Leisha.
yeah, so when
Leisha's got a hand up.
when we talk about diabetes, a huge subject. Leisha, your hands up. Come in, talk things.
Yeah, I was going to say, Supreme Spin Doctor brought up the Barbados being the #1 amputee capital of the world, and it's in the BMJ, the British Medical Journal, and it says a staggering 89% of diabetes-related hospital admissions in Barbados involve foot complications. Amputations are largely attributed to poorly managed type 2 diabetes, with approximately 80% of cases stemming from diabetic foot ulcers. So it says also that it touches everybody. Diabetes touches here in Barbados in one way or another. And that's from one of the researchers.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's right.
And that's the British Medical Journal.
Yeah, the BMJ, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's it's absolutely mind-boggling. And the thing about it, most people are like sheep. They just follow what the authorities are saying, when really, like what we saw, and I posted the book in the chat. I mean, 105 days, and Lizard, as his name be, Lyndon Wizard, Wizard, the inspired diabetic, 105 days, eradicated his type 2. It's doable. Type 1 is when you've been too long, I think, on the meds. And then, because I saw a thing with the guy, he does fasting, and he said that when you're on
That's not
diabetes,
true.
they keep giving you more meds with insulin.
Jason, we got a type 1 here who's shaking her head.
I said something wrong. I'm just saying, I'm trying to explain myself. Hold on.
Let's go to break.
Type 2 can lead to type 1. Am I wrong?
We've got to go to break, Joseph.
Because, well, Cynthia's on type, my part, she's on type 2, and they said to her it can lead to type 1. So we're very concerned. We don't want that to happen. So I'm like, whatever you need to eat, and I'll eat the same thing too, so that you stay on the track to eradicate the type 2, because we don't want to go down to a type 1. So I don't know how it links across. But we do need to go to break. And what we'll do, we will be back after these words.